The 60s, a time of peace, love, and rock and roll. It's hard not to see the effects of the 60s even now. Drugs, namely cannabis and LSD, were a huge part of the 60s, and surprisingly, so much so that it continues to affect us now. It was and has become a big part of social culture. Recreational drugs really saw a big rise in the 60s as celebrities and media started promoting it. Kush, chronic, bud, grass, many of the slang terms for the recreational drug cannabis. And in the 60s there was a lot of cannabis. Loads and loads of it. It was hard not to find a group of rebellious teens or counterculture prospectors ripping a fat one and linking in. Widely used to lay back and chill out, marijuana was used widely due to its cheap price and easy accessibility. This drug wasn't a big nail in the house of the civil rights movement, but whether it was in gay rights, anti-war, or African American rights movements, marijuana was always there and acted as a catalyst of sorts that really promoted this make peace not war message. Lysergic acid dithylamide. What was not to like about this recently developed hallucinogenic masterpiece? One tab would have you going on a psychedelic trip. Keep your eyes in the center of the screen and just listen in. In the famous word of Timothy Leary, turn on, tune in, drop out. Like what the description suggests, LSD was a strong psychedelic drug, which meant that your vision would be distorted, your mind would start to wander, and many say it's an out-of-body experience where you come to understand things on a deeper level. You may find this interesting, but if you take this little pinch of salt and rewatch Disney's Alice in Wonderland, you may find some interesting parallels to draw. The music industry would be nowhere near where it is today if it wasn't for the heavy use of LSD or marijuana. Many bands such as the Beatles, the Kinks, Led Zeppelin, and the Rolling Stones all experimented with writing songs under the influence of these drugs, and it came to great effect. These bands were pioneers to the rock and roll genre of music we've all come to know and love. The Woodstock Festival was one of the biggest counterculture events of the time, with an estimated 100,000 people attending. Many famous bands and musicians came, such as Jimi Hendrix and The Who. Needless to say, recreational drugs were used extensively to increase the festivity of the event. It's no secret that recreational drugs were a big part of the social revolution in the US, and the booming of drugs really solidified the stick it to the man vibe of the 60s. Sitting down with a couple buddies, lighting up and getting faded, really launched society's conforming lifestyle right out, and began a new age of peace, love, and rock and roll.